You know, it would have been nice to see him break that record, but sadly, we're not going to see it. And in that case, they better win a championship.
I can't say anymore. I'm probably already in trouble for mentioning it to well, we call you normies.
Most of you might already know, but just in case you've been hiding under a rock or you haven't been able to check out the latest and greatest in sports, I'm here to give it to you, Mr. Normie. The Eagles organization has made a decision on whether they're going to play or sit Saquon Barkley for the last game of the season during the Giants. And well, looking here at the title from Outkick, as you can already tell, they have decided to sit him. Yeah. And the consensus across the board, from ESPN to, Ocho and Shannon Sharp to, Fox and everybody else, they've all said, you know what? While it's the right decision, I guess from management, a personnel standpoint to sit him out because they don't want him to get injured, it still would have been nice to see him break the record, okay? In my opinion as well. But there are a few reasons why they decided to sit him. One, which I'd like to get into in a separate article because it's not mentioned in this one, is something that happened last year around the same time in Week 18, I believe, also playing the Giants at the end of the season before they got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card game. This is what happened. A.J. Brown injury, Eagles wide receiver will not play against the Buccaneers. That happened. Yep, that happened. Bad news in Philadelphia ahead of their wild card playoff game. This was January 13th of 2024. Says Brown suffered a knee injury in what ended up to be a meaningless game for the Eagles in Week 18. He has not been able to practice at all leading up to this week's trip to Tampa Bay. And most of you already know they lost that game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they were put out of the playoffs. So this is one of the reasons why they're going to sit him. But not only that, I heard Shannon Sharp say the same thing. You know what? Well, they could sit him in this game for the last game of the regular season and they can go into the wild card or go into the playoffs and they can still get injured, right? And to be honest with you, the spectator part of me thinks the same thing, right? Play him, let him get the record. And you know what? Not that we're playing to lose, but if the baby Jesus upstairs says that you're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, well, you came out with something, right? And this is a procedure break for Saquon Barkley, and especially in the face of the Giants that put him out to pasture, which I believe in an ignorant way they sent him to a team that's in their division, which was dumb. But in any case, this would be another big accomplishment for Saquon, being that running backs don't really get a lot of shine nowadays. They're kind of interchangeable, as you can see, except for the greats like Saquon or Derrick Henry and people like them that have become staples in the league to where their offense can pretty much run at will. Most running backs like Zeke Elliott just got cut from the Cowboys a couple of days ago. So I mean, running backs are big for the first 2 years, and then after that, they just get shuffled around. And some of them, like I believe Frank Gore, he was able to kind of revive his career toward the end of his. But you understand what I'm saying, right? So you see right here, inside the Eagles' decision to sit Saquon Barkley and bypass a chance to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record.
Target acquired.
Let's read the article and see what helped make this decision. For just $5 a month, please consider becoming a member of Welcome to Normieville. There you will find access to members-only videos and members-only live streams, as well as a host of other perks. Thank you for your consideration. Back to the video. Saquon Barkley started eyeing the possibility of breaking Eric Dickerson's single-season NFL rushing record of 2,105 yards before Thanksgiving when he nearly reached the 1,400-yard mark with 6 games to play. It's not going to happen now because the Eagles coach Nick Sirianni has decided, probably correctly, if one believes the good of the team is the priority, to rest Barkley in Sunday's game against the New York Giants.
You think you can do this to me?
But how did we get here? A lot of voices heard on rushing record. What was Barkley's journey to a decision? He changed his mind about a couple of times. How did his family react? And what is up with Barkley's pronunciation of Dickerson's last name? I don't know anything about that. Let's begin with the process of deciding why Barkley, who is 101 yards shy of breaking Dickerson's record of 2,105 rushing yards, won't get a chance at the record. It began with Sirianni meeting with Barkley and asking the player what he wanted to do, but the issue has more voices than just two. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie was involved. So was the Eagles general manager Howie Roseman. Barkley discussed it with his family, including his father, who pushed hard to see his son break the mark. And players not included in the decision, particularly the Eagles offensive linemen, made it clear they wanted to go for the record because this would also be an accomplishment for their offensive line, because they're the ones that are able to facilitate this gentleman, Saquon Barkley, getting to the record because of their, blocking prowess, their excellent, work at their profession in the front lines, no pun intended, that Saquon was able to reach this record. And so, again, much respect to the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, you use all resources that you have at your hands to help make the best decision for the football team, Sirianni said. Now, like I said, the spectator in me would love to see him break this record, but the managerial or the play it safe side of me is like, you know what? That's a good idea because we need him fresh in order to make sure this offense is running at peak efficiency for the playoffs, okay? And right now they don't have any room for errors because there's plenty of competition. The Eagles, you got the Lions, of course. You got who else? Kansas City, of course. You can't forget them. The Baltimore Ravens. You got the Steelers are bend but don't break. You got plenty of teams out there that can be a headache for this team. You got the Green Bay Packers out there. There are a lot of teams out there that can still, get to the Eagles. So they need to be firing on all cylinders.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure! We've come too far!
Sirianni and Barkley talk rushing record. It all began with the meeting between the head coach and the running back. Quote, obviously a lot of plays into that, Sirianni said, who didn't share specifics of his talk with Barkley. It's a very special record that has been standing for a very long time by a great player. It's a team record that everybody's involved in, so you weigh in all those things. But at the end of the day, you just try to do what's best for the team. Again, when the bye was how guys are feeling, the bumps and bruises we can take care of, we put ourselves in position to be able to be in this situation. It's not easy, and it wasn't the easiest decision to go through, but we have to have great people in the building and had a lot of input from a lot of different people, players included. Barkley originally was neutral about chasing the record or sitting, but by Monday, he definitely wanted to go for the mark. Quote, he asked me if I wanted to play, if I want to go for it, Barkley said of his first two talks with Sirianni on the subject. I said on Sunday, I probably didn't care too much for it. When I slept on it, it was like it's an opportunity for me to put my name in football history. I may never get the opportunity like that again. So I'm down, but at the end of the day, I don't care for putting the team at risk. He's the head coach for a reason. Whatever decision he wanted to make, I let him know if you want to play me, I'll make sure we get it. But if you don't, I'm okay with that too. So, of course, he wanted to chase the record, but I guess, because he's not in charge, of course not. He said he's going to side with whoever the coach does, and he doesn't really have a choice in that either, right? I mean, he kind of has to because he's the player. The coach has got the big picture in mind, as he should. In the locker room, Barkley's teammates, particularly offensive linemen, told him they wanted the record, and Barkley's father really wanted the record. He told his son that our last name would be attached to the new record as long as it stands, be it a year or 40 years. I see it from that side too, Barkley admitted, but he, the one who raised me to be all about team two. It's interesting that having his name attached to the record is attractive to Barkley because he routinely and probably unwittingly mispronounces Dickerson's name. I tell my family it's like we didn't come here to break Eric Dickerson's record, Barkley said. We came here to win the Super Bowl, and I think everyone knows that. Eric Dixon. Oh, gosh. Okay, well, that's kind of easy to mispronounce. I guess you'd say it that way. There's no disappointment. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to even do that. Like I said, it's not in God's plan, but what is in God's plan is the opportunity to get ready for the playoffs and get myself, and not only myself, but all the starters a little break and get healthy and go on a run. Barkley admits he has spent time researching the 2,000-yard milestone. He's one of 9 players to ever reach it, and some of the best players who eclipsed the mark have discussed it with him recently. Now, while he might not be at number 1 spot over Eric Dickerson, he said that he's only they said 9 players to ever reach 2,000 yards in the season. So he's still in good company, even though he might not be at the top, which I'm sure as any athlete or any competitor, he wants to be at the top end. Again, why not?
You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here.
Eric Dixon's feet, not most impressive. And here's where the details get in here, where I guess, even though breaking Eric Dickerson's record would be great, there are other records that he can still break. I guess, if he gets another crack at it next season, maybe, because this regular season, it was almost over. Chris Johnson reached out, Jamal Lewis reached out, and Derrick Henry reached out. Dickerson, on record as not wanting Barkley to break the record, had not reached out as of the time of this post published. No matter, because Barkley doesn't believe his achievement is the most impressive among the men who accomplished the milestone. Quote, Eric Dixon, I got to make sure what I say isn't like throwing a shot at him, but Eric Dixon has the record, Barkley said. You can't take nothing away from him with that. It's amazing. I think the 2 most impressive ones would be O.J. Simpson because of the amount of games he did it in is 14. And then Barry Sanders, which the amount of carries he did it in is 335. So yeah, it was cool for me to realize how close I was and to do the research again, even though I had done it before. Barkley calls his research going down memory lane, and now he's taking up residence on that lane of 2,000-yard rushers. It's cool, he said, to be even mentioned with those guys. Like I said, the fact that he even got to this part is he's in good company, right? While he will not break Eric Dickerson's record, because they said they're not going to play him, even though they might, I don't know, they might change their mind, on the day of, right? But even though he is not on pace to break the record because they're scheduled to sit him, he's still in good company of other players who has broken the 2,000-yard mark. And so I guess he can take consolation in that. And if he wins the championship, well, he missed it. He missed it for a reason. And I can sympathize with that. If he doesn't, then it's a good chance that he missed. And I guess we'll have to see. Time will tell. We don't know. But respect to Eric Dickerson, respect to Saquon Barkley, and respect to the management of the Philadelphia Eagles. They did what they thought was right for the postseason. And well, of course, it is what it is, all right? And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of Normieville. You know me, I'm just Normie, here to bring you the latest and greatest in sports. Let me know what you think about this decision to sit Saquon Barkley for the last game of the season down in the comment section. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on your way out of the door, and I'll see you on the next video.